So we talk about a lot of data, corporate files, right? We talk about annual reports, 10K, press release. We talk about a lot of data, company, corporation files. Let's talk about some data findings from investors, institutional investors. Institutional investors also have to file a lot of the findings. And if you can analyze these findings, you can understand the hedge fund, the mutual fund, pension fund. You can understand all these institutional investors. That's very unique and interesting data. I think everyone should know. So let's move on to this. What's the data from the institutional investors, including mutual fund, hedge funds, and pension funds? So one data is called N-CSR. It's finding by mutual fund. It's a mutual fund, and so mutual fund has to file these findings regularly and to tell investors how they are doing. So what is in the N-CSR? So they have a shareholder letters. The shareholder letters are talking about the company strategy. They will tell shareholders, yeah, I'm a Fidelity mutual fund. I think the market is good. I'm going to invest more. I'm going to go with AI stocks, blah, blah, blah. They talk about their strategies, like future strategies or past strategies in the shareholder letters. And the performance discussion of fund performance, they talk about, I did well in the last 2 years, but bad in the last 1 year. They discuss about the performance, give them investors explanation why they are doing well, why they are not doing well. And also they give you about their operations. We hired 2 accounting people to do the accountants. And also we trying to do site visits like on the company to see how the firm is doing. So there's a lot of information going on. You can see that shareholder letter, discussion performance, even sometimes the liquidity risk. So sometimes they disclose. It's relatively easy to sell our mutual fund. Then they don't have a liquidity risk. But sometimes if no one trades the mutual fund, and there will be liquidity risk because if investors has the mutual fund shares, it's difficult to sell. Then they are facing the liquidity risk. So you can see that they talk about a lot of stuff. They talk about the portfolio construction. How did I construct the portfolio, and what's the risk? So in the findings, these institutional investors, this mutual fund, talking about the risk, talking about the market outlook, talking about how they construct the portfolio. And then also they will tell you their investment philosophy. I think I should invest in AI. Some companies say I will do ESG investing. So they talk about their philosophy in the findings as well. All these are good data you guys can analyze. And then they also talk about the risk as well. So the report has different frequency. So it's a semi-annual or annual report. So you can see that the company filed this, but there's a change of regulation. Now it's become like now I think it's become a quarterly report. So you used to be semi-annual, now become quarterly. You can see SEC require the mutual fund to file these findings more frequently. So before it was semi-annual, and now you move to quarterly findings. So you can see that. So, and you can see what information they included. You can see that even expense ratio, you guys must be familiar with expense ratio. If I buy a mutual fund, I have to pay the expense ratio to the fund manager because the fund manager is helping me manage the portfolio. So expense ratio, everything will be disclosed in this kind of data. So you can see some examples, the expense ratio, they will exactly tell you how much money they charge you. Let's say if I invest in Fidelity, what's the expense ratio they will charge me for me to invest in that fund. And also they give you the performance. They give you exactly the holdings and performance. And they also give you the shareholder report, tell you what's their strategy and what's their portfolio, what's the market outlook. And also they give you the holdings and also what industry they want to invest. So and also they give you details about performance data, even 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, and also they give you benchmark. So for example, the benchmark is market. So if you invest in market index, how much the return would be? If you invest in my mutual fund, how much the return will be? So you can see they give you the benchmark as the market investment to see whether they outperform the market or underperform the market. So they will give you that. So you can see all the data is available, and the SEC has keep changing the regulation on this disclosure to make sure the mutual fund and other institutional investors will disclose the findings in a more frequent way.